What's going on, everybody? It is your pal Tunnel Nuck here, and today we are here with Maple Leafs on the Man Advantage. I told you guys that we were working on something, and we're gonna kind of have this new podcast coming out on both channels. We just done one for the Vancouver Canucks. Um, Now we're about to do one on the Toronto Maple Leafs. I wish I was like Maple Leafs on the Man Advantage or Hawkeye in having other teams' gear, but I'm not a trader. I don't put on other teams' stuff, even if it's just for the podcast. So we're gonna remain representing the Canucks, but
There you
you
go.
know, we'll kind of get into some of these questions. And if you guys do enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe,
Yeah.
and check out both channels because this podcast will be uploaded to both. And yeah, so we'll kind of get into it. And I want to start, with the thing that's kind of been going around Toronto the last couple of days is the
Oh yeah.
GM situation and your thoughts on the firing and the hiring of the new GM and what you think is going to happen in Toronto now.
Well, I'll start by saying traveling definitely should have lost his job, but I really question the timing of it.
Yeah.
If he was so bad, why couldn't you do that at the Olympic break?
Hmm.
Um, and then bring the guys under him like they've done now up and okay, guys, it's your show for the rest of the season. Do it, or maybe even just before the trade deadline, because Trevelling went through the trade deadline and then started signing guys out of college, and everything was great. And then all of a sudden, no, we're gonna fire him. It just seemed like
Yes.
strange timing to me. I hate to say it, that's very Maple Leafs. Um, but yeah, I think traveling needed to go. Like I don't have a problem with that move. I just question the timing, and then yeah, I seen it a couple times, the Keith Pelly press conference, and I understand you shouldn't hang on every word somebody says in these press conferences, but at the same time, this is the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? So
Yeah.
um I I don't know where we're going or what's going to happen from here, or I'm not really confident the right decision's going to be made um about this. So I'm in that bad spot as a Leaf fan, right? So
Do
I
you
don't know what.
so
Yeah.
we'll kind of stay on like the whole team aspect here for a minute, and I just want to hear your
Mhm.
thoughts on if you think it's time for the Leafs to rebuild, or if you agree with upper management and the owners that they're going to try to retool again, and that next year the plan is for another playoff push.
Um, it's also a very difficult situation to be in because in my mind, it's all up to Auston Matthews
Yeah,
and or William Nylander. If they want to stay, I don't think you can do a rebuild because you got no first round draft picks. Like you got one, I think, for next year. You got for Waugh, but that could be like the last pick in the first round. So
yeah,
that's not a rebuild. Sorry. So if they don't want to go, they want to stay, want to try it again. You're gonna have to do that,
yes,
unfortunately. Um, I personally would like to do a rebuild, like to trade both of those guys for picks or whatever you can get, unless the price is so low, because I don't know what Matthews is worth now. I'm not saying you wouldn't get much for him, but he had severe knee injury here. Um, I don't know. He doesn't score 60 goals anymore,
yeah,
everybody. He had 27 this year. Um, but he's still a first line center, I think. So I don't know. But yeah, unfortunately, it's up to them. That sucks, but
yeah. Rebuild's a tough thing to admit. You see it all over the league with
Mhm.
teams trying to retool, and everybody kind of has their different take on it. So
Yeah,
moving to, we'll hit a few of the players as well.
sure.
Some players that, maybe aren't meeting the mark or I want to hear your thoughts on. So, like what we did with Vancouver, we'll kind of stick to the same kind of format. So let's dive into the goaltending and kind of your thoughts and what you think about the Stolars Wool and if they're two goalies that you could see taking you guys to the playoffs.
Well, both of those guys, it's like you have in Vancouver with Demko. They're really good when they're healthy.
Hmm.
Um, but this year it's been more like Stolarz. Like he's had, I don't know how many injuries this year, two or three. Um, but they're not reliable,
No.
unfortunately. So they're good when they're in. Stolarz, I think, has gotten better as the year's gone on a bit. But personally, next year, I want to go with not as my number one goalie, say, but I want Hill to be in the lineup. I
Yeah.
want to. We've seen a little bit of him this year. He looked fine to me. He didn't look scared. He didn't look like the game was above him or anything. He looked good in there. And he's 25, so he's one of my guys. But the thing is, you're going to have to put one of these guys on waivers to send to the Marlies. So I personally would be working out a trade for Wall or Stolars. And personally, I think you can get more for Wall
Mhm.
than Stolars because Stolars, yeah, he has not been consistently in the net, but I think Wall had a better year than Stolars at
Yeah.
the same time. And he's only got 2 years left, I think, where Stolars it's like four. So I think you could get more for Wall, but at the same time, if you can trade Stolars, sure, I'll trade him too. But I don't know. That's my thought on that, on the goaltending. But they gotta trade one of these guys, or if you can't, I don't know. I I guess I would send Stolars to the minors. Would somebody pick him up? He doesn't have a massive contract.
No.
It's 4 years, so somebody might pick him up, but there's got to be somebody interested out there in one of these guys, I hope. But
Oh, 100%. And St. Louis is in the market. We've seen that with
sure.
Benny up for grabs. So
Hmm.
I agree with you in bringing Hill to be up. I think, Hill to be needs his time to shine as well. So kind of moving along and, we'll kind of leave the best for last because I know there's some
Okay.
questions that everybody's got around one particular player, but for now
Yeah.
we'll go to Matthew Nyes. I kind of want to hear your
Okay.
opinions on him. He's kind of a young guy coming up for you guys,
Yeah.
and where you think he sits.
Well, it was interesting to hear that there was this potential trade for him to Montreal. And I think if Montreal did that, oh my gosh, I think he would fit really well in Montreal. They're a
Yeah.
high flying team. They're young, like him. I think he would work well there. But personally, I want to keep Nyes because he's young, and because he has elements to his game that nobody else on the Leafs has. Um, so yeah, my asking price on him would be very high, but he's a guy I'd want to keep. I know you can get a lot for him, but um, he's not a player that would be easily replaced.
No,
So I like Nyes.
I
Um,
think, yeah, you know, you guys kind of have your thing that you're sticking to over there in Toronto, and I think Nice fits that.
yeah.
Um, you
He played
know,
well last night too. Like the
it,
game last night. So
he always seems, he's one of those guys on the Leafs that seems to say, you can't be 100% consistent, but he's one of the more consistent guys on the team, and I think he's a a really good addition for Toronto, and they should stick with him. So
Yeah.
we'll kind of move on to kind of the old man of the group of this core, and I
Uh,
want to hear your thoughts on old John Tavares and where you think he stands with the Leafs.
well, personally, back a couple years ago, because another guy's taken that spot for me in my head, but Tavares was actually maybe my favorite Leaf of that group because I love that he plays right in front of the net.
Mhm.
And I also love that he's not fast. He's not like flying down the wing or through center, wherever. But I liked him a lot. And I think they got a bargain for him. I don't think they did on the first contract, perhaps, but he got 30 goals. He's got 30 goals now. You can't complain about that.
No,
Because he's 35, isn't he? 34, 35. He's not a
30,
young
yeah,
man.
35.
So that's pretty darn good if you could do that at that age. I like him. In saying that, I know he's a Toronto boy. He wants to play with the Leafs. He loves playing here. If he wants to go somewhere,
Let him go.
tell me. Tell me, John, because we can see about doing it, or I don't know. He's a he's a good player, but he's also yeah, he's
Do you
more like a third line center, maybe, or occasional second line center on a good team. So
And
I don't know.
sticking with Tavares and kind of like the age that Tavares brings and that, do you think that a player like the Tavares is good? What is this doing? Is going to want to stick around? Um, if the Leafs were to choose to rebuild or what have you, do you think Tavares at his age would want to stick around for that?
I personally, I don't know, but I'm leaning towards I don't think so, but because what he's never done is he's never got out of the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah,
And does he want to retire? And that's all I never went on a playoff run. I don't know. He played in Toronto and has played in Toronto for quite a while, lived up to that dream. Um, Scored 40 goals here, I think a couple of times. Trying to remember, I know he did at least once his first year in Toronto. Um, but I think he might lean towards, hey, I want to maybe win a cup or go on a
yeah.
run somewhere. So I think he would if you talk to him or
I think he's
suggested
one
that.
of
Just
those.
say,
He wants to be in Toronto, and I think
yeah,
he's
he
kind of
does.
made that known. So I think whatever they choose to do, he'd be kind of willing to stick along for the ride if it's better for the team.
Mm,
And you only get a few of those players per team that are really willing to stick around for something like that.
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he did that too. If he said, you know what, I'll stay. Because he
Yeah,
seems to like living in Toronto with his wife and his kids. And
yeah.
well, maybe that's more important to him. So I don't know.
And a lot of the guys we got to remember it's all about their families too and where they're
Yeah.
comfortable. But I think Tavares definitely would stay. So kind of switching up to somebody who, you know, is kind of two players with one question. I kind of want to get your opinion on them
Mm,
both. So we got William Nylander, who obviously everybody knows, but I
hmm
also wouldn't mind if you touch on because I just seen it there yesterday and I was watching a video about it on his brother Alex
Oh,
Nylander and what you think about them both being in the organization. If you see Alex, as he's really young and not really had much NHL time, if you could see him being brought up to the Leafs lineup if a rebuild were to happen.
yeah. I think it's pretty cool that you have two brothers on the team like that. It's unfortunate Alex is down with the Marlies mostly. I've seen him with the Leafs, uh, maybe a couple of games. Um, so it is cool that they're both in the organization like that. Um, who knows? Like if they do go full rebuild, I don't see why he may not be a good option to put in the lineup unless you can get some good young talent coming back in trades.
Mm.
Um, because he's got some NHL experience and he's got some offensive minded hockey. You can tell when you're watching him. Um, but yeah, with Willie, I don't know. It's a problematic relationship I have with him, you could say, because man, he does some things out on the ice that drop your jaw, no doubt,
Yeah,
and then other things that make you slap your forehead. And I don't know. It's it's
it's a
too
hard
bad,
one.
but I think personally, uh, I don't. If you said to Willie, "We're going to do a rebuild," it would be up to him though, because if he's like, "No, you're not. I'm staying." Well, I guess we're not because we don't have any
Yeah,
draft picks. Um,
you don't really have
but
the ability just to ship them away.
yeah, but if he's on board for that, I would be on board for that as well.
Yeah,
I just think like I wasn't highly offended. I remember when he was up in the press box giving the finger and stuff like that. But I
yeah,
thought it was really immature and they slap an A on his chest like it doesn't matter. Like that's how you
yeah,
lead a team. And I was like, guys, that's not how you win a Stanley Cup doing that or having that attitude or whatever. But I don't know. I'd be totally fine in seeing him go somewhere, but I think he's still got 6 years, right?
yeah.
So
Oh, he's another
yeah,
one of
he
those guys
signed a
with one of those
massive
massive
deal here.
contracts.
I don't know, but I don't know what they're paying him. It's not that bad. I don't
Uh,
think.
I don't think he's
Is
got a killer contract. He's not
it like
like
10 and a half or something? Like it's lower than Pedersen's, but it's like
yeah.
he's
It's
also
not
over a
quite
point a game. So
and it's
I don't
also not quite having your own doctor in Germany either. Like
know.
he's not making that kind
Yeah,
of money. So
no. No.
which, like I said, we saved the best for last.
Yeah.
And obviously, we got to talk about it. Your opinions on Austin Matthews and whether you think he should stay or if it's time to part ways with him.
Yeah, like it's tricky because like as I said, it's up to him. If he doesn't want to go, that is his right to say,
No.
I want to stay here or I want to try and win a Stanley Cup in Toronto. And if
Yeah.
that's the case, you're gonna have to retool. But I would be very animate with him or get him to the point of um like I would seriously consider at some point hopefully you want to play somewhere else because I don't know what the future holds. Like, are you going to walk out the door like Marner did? Even though
Yeah.
we got a trade for him, but it was like minuscule and can in comparison to what Marner is actually worth. Um, but is that what's going to happen, or are we going to trade you at the deadline next year? And I don't know, but Um, yeah, it's tricky, but you got to be respectful though too. Like you can't walk in there, barge in there and say this is the way it is because it's like no, it's not. He can tell you otherwise. He can say
Yeah.
whatever he wants to, and that's the way it is because he has that right with his contract with that no trade clause. But um,
And they
yeah,
kind of have a capability nowadays, and we'll touch on this in a later podcast, but they have the
mhm,
capability to teams really get stuck now, and you see these
yeah,
teams that are dying to rebuild, and I'm not saying that the Leafs
yes,
are in this situation, but that are really wanting to part ways with these guys, but these contracts really lock in the teams, and you know
uh-huh.
that's like a case like what you mentioned with Nylander and Matthews both together. If they don't want to leave, I
And
mean,
I
you're kind of stuck in a position where retooling is your only option, right?
yeah, and I think like when it comes to the Leafs and I kind of get it that when I saw the Pelly press conference a bit, maybe, or maybe mentally I just put it there. But I think the problem with Toronto is they want the money. Even
Yeah,
though like they don't go on long playoffs runs, they're afraid to rebuild. They think that if we get rid of Auston Matthews, the building's going to be empty.
yeah,
I was watching when they had Harold Ballard running the show, and they filled the building. So I don't think it'll matter as long as you have a plan. I think real fans,
are
they'd
going
be
to
on
keep showing
board
up.
with that. I'm not saying they all should be, but as long as you're open about a plan, and I'm not saying give me every detail, but what's the plan?
Yeah,
People are, hey, that actually will excite people and seeing that, okay,
communication is
there's
key
a
with the fan
brain
base.
behind. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah,
yeah,
well, I think that will kind of wrap up this video, guys. You
sure.
know, obviously, if you guys want to see more like these, make sure that you guys check us both out. It's Tunnel Nuck and Maple Leafs on the Man Advantage. For any of my viewers, you guys know that it's always down in the description below is his link. So make sure you guys go check out Hawkeye as well. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure that you guys let us know. Because obviously, I think we're both pretty interested in making this a reoccurring thing.
Oh yeah,
Um,
this is fun. So
and we'll kind of see what the off season brings for both teams and how the playoffs line up. Not only for obviously we know neither one of us are making it, but
yeah, no,
we still got some good playoff hockey coming. So if you guys
yeah,
did enjoy,
that'll be exciting.
do what you guys know to do: like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And we will catch you guys all in the next one.
All right, have a good one.